Okay, so this is Rich Pendergast speaking for the town of Lyme WPCA. If you want some papers, I can give you some papers. We have a quorum tonight with Steve Tsunami, Andrea Lombard, Dmitry Tolzinski, Rob McCarthy, and Steve Ergowitz. Tonight's agenda is similar to other agendas: approval of minutes, budget updates, business economy service option discussion. We are going to plan on going to an executive session tonight. I'll explain that when it happens. Then we have the Soundview Sewer Miscellaneous Area B projects, design updates, clean water funding application, status of additional funding grant applications, some correspondence, new business, public comment, and adjournment. I'm going to circulate to the members here present something that will come eventually for new business, which is a request for some septic system pump out extension. We'll discuss that under new business, but you might want to, in the middle, do multitask and read what's going on. So with that, I'm going to jump into item 1 or item 2, approval of minutes from April 11th. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from April 11th? Dmitry made a motion. Can I have a second? Steve Tsunami seconded it. Open discussion. Any comments, concerns, issues? I'm not hearing any. So I'm going to take a call to vote on approving the minutes from April 11th. For Erica, our clerk, I'm going to say to everybody that I'll tell the voting thing. Could you hold on for 1 second before I finish this motion? I just got an email. What was that, Steve?
Steve's been reading.
Yeah. Can you call him back saying he's in the wrong meeting? So yeah, there's 2 meeting links. Yeah. We're eventually going to figure all this stuff out. Clicking the right buttons. We're not there yet. And it's not just us, it's everybody. So I'm going to poll voters. Steve, how do you vote on approving the minutes? Steve Tsunami? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Rob, how do you vote? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Dmitry, how do you vote? Yes or no? Steve?
Yes.
Erwin's? Yes. Andrea, how do you vote?
Yes.
Okay. Unanimous, motion carries. Thank you. Move on to the next item, which is budget update and planning. I'm going to attempt to share my screen with a Excel file.
I'm okay. You don't have, whatever works for the group. I have copies. I'm the only one.
I'll try and share the screen and see how that goes.
Perfect.
Let's see. And Andrea, you can tell me if I shared it correctly, the right item.
Yeah, I can't see it, but I'll go ahead with the report.
Okay, so Erica,
this-
could you confirm that what you see is in Excel says fiscal year 2022, 2022-23?
Yep, I see it.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Go ahead, Andrea.
Great. So what I want to report on the regular budget, we budgeted $88,422. We've spent about 4% of that budget year to date. This past month, the only expense that we had was on the clerk. So year to date, we're at $444. We had 1 postage stamp, and the other expense has been Carmody, which is listed as Infotech, and that's just under $3,000. So as far as the budget goes, so far the big expenses haven't hit. The carry forward has been spent down. We spend a considerable amount of time making sure that any encumbered invoices have been expensed. And from what we can tell, we have taken care of that. So we paid out over $10,818 under legal. And then the project consultant, Fuss and O'Neill, which was encumbered since last April, that's been expensed, and the total is $278. So our available year-to-date budget and the carryover for legal is still around 20,000, and for the project consultant, we're still around 24,000.
Thank you, Andrea.
And we carried that over because of so many of the foreseeable things happening this year, and you're very welcome. And we have some really nice processes set up, so it should be smooth sailing.
Okay, so the carryover is might be considerable. We might be asked in July to release that. We are not as bad as some other departments that go back years with their carryovers. These carryovers from last year. Harbor Commission's switched rooms. It's in the bigger room. Thank you. So, you know, that's a normal process that we might be asked to give up carryovers if especially if we're not going to use it. And I think we'll know in the coming months if we have some legal expenses that are coming up those were originally earmarked for, or if they're not going to happen. So anyways, any comments from WPCA committee members about that?
I have a question about the budget in general.
Sure, go ahead, Steve.
Sure.
Andre, have we been requested to go before the finance committee yet? For our current
No.
budget?
I have not gotten that request. Did you get one last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, we get it usually last minute.
So when do you normally?
Yeah, it's submitted for next year.
When did you do that last year?
We submitted it like November, and
It was lower than
what
this year,
what they've done in the past is they asked them to come in to explain things, but they didn't have questions, and they didn't have questions with us.
And then
So do you have a small meeting? But I mean, I guess we.
No,
can
it's a
prepare that.
huge meeting.
No, but.
It's on the Board of Finance.
All right, so I should have a proposed budget for the next meeting?
No,
I'm sorry.
it already happened.
No?
You'll propose one in November for next year. I proposed one in November for this year. For coming year, for the one that begins July 1st. And usually they call us in to explain it, but maybe they were just happy with the numbers and decided to.
I find when we lower our budget, there's less questions.
I'll get an answer for you for the next meeting.
The town meeting. The entire town budget.
Hang on one second, I'm getting a WPCA member, having trouble getting in.
Hello. Do you have the right, like, go to the agenda? Just emailed out May 6th, like that, you might be hitting the executive stuff. Just like it, make it a little. It's being. Two separate lines.
So Erica, if you could note that Brad Yerkes has joined. Brad, I just sent you an unmute request. If you can unmute yourself.
I'll forward the link to you.
Got it.
So, and I think that was Corey.
Uh,
Oh,
I just-
okay.
I just-
Okay, so we have a couple other members trying to get into the meeting. Uh, so if we're not, if, I think we're done with that section, we'll go on to the next
I
item.
just have one request for Erica. We're gonna try, if you can get your, invoice in ASAP, we're gonna have it, try to have it in the next pay period.
Okay,
All right, thanks.
absolutely.
Because, we're on a bi-weekly pay schedule, so there's one more pay period in May.
Okay, okay, so I think we should mention it though. So Steve has
Invoice.
an invoice from the printing of the design, documents.
Yeah, it's about $276, something like that.
Okay, so Steve's gonna submit the printing for, an invoice for printing,
Okay.
to Andrea. And
Thank
it'll go
you.
through the normal process.
Who would I give it to? I could give it to Andrea or someone here, right?
You give it to Andrea,
Okay.
and then she approves it, and you or me approve it, and since you submitted it, I'll approve it.
That's a good.
And then we'll send it to finance departments to, pay it. Okay. Okay, so the next item, or are we all done with the budget and expense discussion?
I'm all done.
Okay. So the next item is Carmody service option, and this is a discussion and what I'm looking for is, I don't know if this is a motion or not. So we had a resident complain that the Harmony system was not updated. He felt there was a mistake in his septic system data. He didn't say what the mistake was, but we don't have someone to do that right now. And Carmody is developing or beta site testing a service, an additional fee that they will do that. They will have a customer service rep answer the phone call about questions about how to read the report and updating the septic system search. We would also probably like is to run a report on all those septic systems that need reminding that they're coming up for, or they're expired for their 7-year pump up. The alternative is I could try to ask the first selectman if he could assign someone from the town to do that. In my simple mind, we pay Ledge Light. Ledge Light comes here 2 days a week. They should do it. They are specifically required to evaluate septic tank designs, repairs. But honestly, I haven't been able to get them to do that or take my phone calls. The only way I can get them to respond is if I talk to somebody I know in their office who doesn't deal with this and walks over and asks them to call me back. Or maybe a WPCA member wants to take on the challenge of doing this updates. I have no data on how many changes have to be. I think it involves calling up the Carmody and saying, I need the administration rights to go in the system and run a report. And then take a form letter and send it out or email to people saying, hey, your septic system's overdue. And occasionally a resident says, hey, there's something wrong with the data. Can you go in and change it?
I think the sanitarian should do that.
Could you hold on, Andrea? Dimitri's speaking. I'll get to you.
I can tell you, I just was reading this record, and she's right. The thing is that, what, is it good pumping septic system when it's not good for them? But the plumber can tell you, it's not good. Because you are taking all bacteria out. You take 6 months to develop the bacteria that you took out. I know.
Well, that's off this, not on the subject here. I'm saying,
But subject that
We-
that fix it, coordinate. It's not good.
well, the question on the table is, do we want to evaluate Carmody, paying them more to handle our administration? Do we want to officially push Ledgelight to do it? Do we have a volunteer or some other idea?
So this is Andrea. Let me know when you want me to talk.
Was this ever done in the past? Is there any?
We had a clerk that did this,
Okay.
and there was not much to do. So, Jennifer Datum, you don't know her, but she was our clerk here, and she did this kind of things. But she has moved on. She's with the voter department now. So we could ask her for a summary to see if what her experience is, but I'm paraphrasing that. I think it wasn't a lot of work. Andrea, go ahead.
So we're part of a district in our local health department, and the sanitarian is responsible for the septic piece and actually should be bringing a report to us, the WPCA, which is what we used to do. And I mean, that's through legislation. I mean, so we are part of a district. We're part of a local health district, not a department anymore. And those services should be provided to us through our contract and agreement.
Why don't I just bring this feedback?
Okay. So this discussion,
Yeah, call it number, he's actively doing, so call the number.
so we have some
Have a
WP,
call
sorry
with
for the
Steve.
interruption. We
Isn't
have some,
Steve
we have
is our
some
health. Go ahead.
We have some WPCA members that are trying to get in.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Andrew, did you want to say something?
Well, Steve Mansfield he's still our director of health, correct?
He's
So-
the director, yes, but he's not going to be doing it.
No, but the conversation is with Steve to assign this to a sanitarian. Perhaps a clerk would do some of this, but a sanitarian should be coming to us with periodic reports and responsible for overseeing this.
So a caller just called in and I unmuted them because I don't know who it is, but I think it's either Corey or Randy.
This is Randy.
Hi, Randy.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, I can't get on this WebEx link, no matter what I do, so my apologies for being late.
No worries. We're in the middle of a conversation now, and I think we're toward the end of it. With Carmody, I'll just briefly summarize so you're up to speed, Randy. We used to have a clerk that kind of updated and would print out or figure out when residents were beyond their pump out time to send them a reminder. We don't have that clerk anymore. And the options could be Harmony's developing a beta site service where they would charge us extra money, don't know how much, and they would do that for us. Update the system, send out notices, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
We could ask Ledgelight in a formal letter, but they haven't responded in the past. That's our health district. And they have an employee spend 2 days a week here. They have a desk here that's full of papers. Or we have a WPCA volunteer. And I heard a couple suggestions, and I think Andrea made a point. It's Ledgelight's responsibility. And Steve has a comment.
I don't know if it's Ledgelight's responsibility because I haven't their contract. So I think the first thing we should do is Ledgelight's contract with Town of Line to see what's included and what's not included. If it's included, put the work on their desk and say do it. If it's not included, I would not suggest a WPCA member volunteering their time to track down this data. As far as I know, Comedy is supposed to work by the septic system installers, but pump out. Entering that data directly into our database. It's not, that's why there's little work, really. It's not a piece of paper that they usually hand off. It's usually an iPad that they fill out. That was my understanding of the product. That updates the information on a regular basis. Even so, if there are 5,000 homes in the town, it would be, let's see, 5,000 divided by about 715, 16 homes a year. If it came in by paper, but I don't think that's the case. I think that-
It doesn't come, you are right. But it's beyond, I guess, us, they electronically can send it. Yeah,
And so it's minimal work either way. So I guess if it's not ledge lights, purview or contract, suggests that we get pricing from Carmody, try to get pricing based on per unit that we actually have to do. So it's $10, instead of an hour, because it'll be a minimum. But we should read the contract. I've never seen the legislative contract, so I have no idea what their responsibilities are. So if we can get that, I'll certainly think to meet. Give everyone my interpretation of what their responsibilities are.
I think that's a great idea that someone's volunteering to do some work. Thank you. It's smart to look at the contract, yeah. And I kind of assume that they should, but maybe that's not it. Maybe we should have written a better contract. I know they're approving all the septic system repairs and installs and designs. That's what's on the desk there.
Septic system is there. I mean, they should.
They may not have data entry. Right, I mean, that's, they may
Yeah.
not have maintenance. So that's why I think it's important.
So, okay, so we'll do that, and then from there, we'll make the next step, or you can make a suggestion.
And maybe, I don't know, contacts the incoming contact. I'll ask them how much they would charge for the service also, so we have
Okay,
something.
Makes sense.
okay. I don't think we need a motion for this. You're volunteering to do it, just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, I hesitate to go to the next item because we just got all our members on this meeting. But the plan is to go into executive session. But let me ask, maybe we don't need to go to the executive session. So Steve knows all the details, or maybe 90% of them. I know all the details, and the executive session gives some framing for reference. It's a private discussion, just for WPCA members and the first selectman if he's available, and tonight he's not available. It's a discussion, no motions can be made, no decisions can be made. And the reason why it's private is if the discussion was made public, it could hurt the town's leverage in negotiating a contract. There's nothing wrong with the cost sharing agreement, which is the subject of the matter, but there are some things that are a little bit different than we have done in the past. And I need some guidance, I guess, because eventually what happens is we get the cost sharing agreement draft. It's shared by all of the members here. And we make a motion to let the chairman or the vice chairman sign it and give it to the first selectman to sign it. And if you're not familiar with the cost sharing agreement, it's that kind of the arrangement that we're developing or updating with the private beach associations that are also developing the sewer system where we share common resources. The example of the common resources, we'll have one pump station to pump every sewer house's effluent to what's called a force main, which goes to the neighboring town. The topics of discussion on that cost sharing agreement is the voting rights and the, uh, line items of costs and how we handle the costs. I think it's maybe a 30-45 minute discussion, if we have it. And for us to go to executive session, we need a motion to go to executive session. What would happen is, that's successful, this meeting would continue on, Erica would, our clerk would run it. We would all leave this meeting and go into the executive session meeting. Now, I sent a WPCA members only email with the title executive session. So before I go any further or ask for the motion, does anyone have any questions about what I said, clarifications? I'm not hearing on me. So, Steve, do you think we should go to executive session? Because you kind of know. Okay,
And I think that you should give everyone listening the phone number they should call to get into the executive session.
I can't do that. So,
Well, you could. We just don't.
well, we could text it to them. So the same members that had trouble, Steve will be your technical advisor of how to get in. So, you have a motion to go to executive session? Steve made a motion to second it. Somebody?
So do we mute this one or what do we do with this current meeting? Do we all sign out?
Erica
But we
is gonna
sign
run
out.
You can just sign out and sign back.
Erica is gonna run this meeting and we're gonna sign out.
Yeah, we have to sign out. Okay.
I was gonna try and run both meetings at the same time, but Erica's graciously volunteered to keep running this meeting. So, all those in favor? So let the record show that Steve, Rob, Dimitri, and the other Steve Urwitz said yes. Corey?
Aye.
How do you vote? Aye. Randy said aye. Brad,
Yes.
how do you vote? Brad, how do you vote? Yes. Okay, unanimous. We're gonna go to executive session. Hang in there, public. We'll get back to you, with the regular meeting.
Thank you.
Okay,
You're gonna text us a phone number?
I'm emailing, the things, the link to Brad and Randy.
so Steve is emailing the links to you guys.
Okay, thank you.
It's Hi, this is Rich Prendergast coming back. Um, let's see, sent the requests. Calling user number 4. I think your hand up, is that Corey? Mine here.
This is Randy.
Oh, Randy, okay. I'm gonna change your, display your name.
Yeah, you had to let me unmute myself.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Erica, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Thank you for being patient and thank you for the public for being patient. Had a lively discussion. We have a couple members that are working their way back into this meeting.
Sure.
I'm just gonna give it a minute. This is still recording, I think. You know what? It's not. I'm gonna, oh no, it's still recording. So we're on, item 4C, Soundview Sewer Miscellaneous B projects, and I'll give an update on that. I think maybe we'll go forward. The other members can get on because they kind of know the update. And if they don't, they can contact me. So the clean water funding application status. We submitted our application. I contacted Carlos at the Connecticut Deep, and Carlos said he's working on our application. I contacted Lee Rogers, who is the finance person, our representative. He's working on our application. They're very busy. I hope to get it in the next month, but I don't think so. But we're trying. Any questions about our application before I go on to the next item? I'm not seeing any, I'm not hearing any. Status of our additional funding and grant applications. So the status of the $17 million in the forgivable loan, Carlos responded that let's see, he said they're having active internal coordination regarding the main criteria and tenets of how additional program could work. However, the final decision and determination by the commissioner has not been made yet. I hope to be able to share with you and others the definitive information and criteria in the near future. I'll reach out to you as soon as possible and be able to do this additional information. I followed up with him and asked him, and he verbally said, no, the money's there. We're just figuring out the rules. So I don't know the details of the 17 million funding. You know, we need the details, and I'm sure lawyers are involved, so we're still waiting for that. That additional funding, if you haven't heard, would lower the costs of all the participants to make it economically feasible to go forward. I think it'll be very good for the Soundview residents, but we have to wait for the details before we define the average per house. Before we could start adjusting our models for that. Any questions about that before I go into the next item? Okay. The next item is correspondence. So the correspondence, I sent a summary and some details to all the WPCA members. The summary, I'll mention each item, and if there's a comment, a WPCA member can ask a question or comment. DOT paving, one of the beach associations has a person in their community that is retired from the DOT, and he contacted the DOT and got a response. They're going to repave 156 up to Hartford Road and stop. So they don't pave the road and then we put the sewer project in and have to repave it, saving us over $1 million, which is fantastic. This was not easy. The DOT does not like to apparently change their plans. So this is a good win. And we keep pressure on them to let them know the status, and so they reschedule who they're paving. Any questions? Okay. There was a resident, Rocco Tadero. He didn't ask a question, but he copied me, about DNA testing done through a Connecticut Examiner article. This is done in 2 other towns, and they're looking for the source of contamination. And there was just a suggestion that we should do this here to validate that there's a problem. We don't need to validate there's a problem because the state told us there's a problem. It's not applicable testing. It is, the state has a dim view already of testing, but the testing that they're doing is not groundwater testing. They have constant beach closures, and they're trying to pinpoint the source of the beach closures. We do not have constant beach closures. So the testing is not applicable for us. Any questions on that? Okay. There's a Freedom of Information request from James Moynihan for the Alliance letter from Old Lyme Shores to the town representatives. And of course, the Freedom of Information request, we responded and gave information. He confirmed that we give him the information he asked for. He asked for it in a couple different ways, and so we just clarified that we satisfied him, and he said, yes, we did. Any questions on that? All right, so the last thing was the deep comments about the 17 million forgivable loan, and I already covered that. So the next item is new business. And for those online, WPCA members online, the members here have already looked at it. We got a request from Rosemary Danielle, who has a property at 21 Flagler Avenue, asking to get a septic system pump out extension. Her pump out is due 6/10/2023 for the 7-year pump out. It's not a 5-year, it's a 7-year. The last time it was pumped out, it's a 500-gallon tank, number one, so it should be 1,000 gallons. Sorry, my work meeting just popped up. I don't have to talk to Asia tonight. So what I was saying is there's a 500-gallon tank, and modern tanks are 1,000 gallons minimum. The bigger the house, the bigger the tank. The last inspection, there was 3 inches of scum and 8 inches of sludge. And what she presented was an electric bill, and a comment saying she doesn't use her house that much, just a couple months a year in the summer. And our electric bill shows no electricity. This one's in May, yeah. So one in May, and you can see that in April, there was significant electricity use last April, but hardly less than 5 kilowatts in July, August, and September. So we could do nothing. So my battery might run out, and if that happens, Erica, you're gonna have to take over, and you probably have to end the meeting. So where I was at with this is we could do nothing, and she still has to. We could give her an extension. She didn't say that she needs an extension because she can't get here, or she didn't say she needs when it needs the extension to. She basically is saying, I don't use my septic system that much, so I shouldn't have to do it. The pump out is not just a pump out, it's a pump out inspection. So, Rob, do you have a comment?
Some sort of precedent and giving people like this a year and said, yeah, we'll give you a year. Get it done.
I think we've done once before where someone said, I want to wait till the summer till I'm here to do it. So we gave an extension for some months. I don't think we have a precedent about a specific time. So,
May I say something?
yeah, go ahead.
I think we should give the extension, maybe for a year or 2.
Okay. Any other comments? I mean,
Did she ask for, is there a time frame she asked for? There isn't?
There's not. I can read the whole letter. It's a quick one. I'm looking for an extension on my septic pump out at 21 Flagler Avenue, located in Old Lyme, because I just go to the beach house once or twice a month in the summer months, June, July, and August. I truly feel that the septic system really is not used to any extent annually. I will also enclose electric bill utilities to reassure my use at the house is very much limited. Any questions, contact me. Now, I don't know if she has a water well. You know, it's not the water, it's electric bill. And I'll tell you my position on it. No extension. We have this in purpose for sewer avoidance. It's pump out and it's inspection. And this is 1 year back on a 7-year cycle. I think it would be the opposite of what we're trying to do if we said, well, you don't use it that often. If she got an inspection and said there's nothing in the tank, there's no sludge, then that's fine. But if you're gonna do the inspection, you might as well do the pump out. Because I don't think you can inspect it
I can tell you.
unless you pump out.
$75. Parking cost $300.
I've never heard of an inspection. Every inspection I've seen, they pump it out to look in the tank.
I did inspection of them.
Well, okay.
I measure sludge and scum.
How do you measure sludge and scum when it's full?
I have a tool.
What's the tool?
I open up the sludge. The clean water. So you see, if you see clean water, there is.
Well, sure, if you see clear water,
Okay,
sure.
when you.
Is it salt water?
Speak it down. Okay, the sludge is sticky. So we start this.
Okay. So we need to do nothing, or we need to have a motion?
I think we should give them.
Steve, you have a comment?
Unfortunately, I'm with you. I don't want to be here with extensions or requests for extensions every meeting. Start making a habit of granting extensions. It's 7 year. There's three things. So 7-year pump out. It's a 500-gallon tank, which means it's old. It's probably not new. I don't even think they made it, right? And it's also inspected. So now we can check to see if there's something wrong with the tank. Once you pump it out, you inspect the tank. Otherwise, Rich is right, you're just gonna, the program is not really a program for grant extensions. I realize that probably doesn't get a lot, but that's not mine. I don't decide our usage, and we've decided what we think tank would be pumped.
But don't forget my point I said.
I understand.
You're talking bacteria, the roads for 6 months.
Right, well, she doesn't use it much, so we're on.
I have a suggestion. We are supposed to get during this meeting, we had decided to get a printout from Carmody to see we haven't had a report from them in a long time. And it might be interesting if we table this to the next meeting to see what we're looking at for other people. She just may be the tip of the iceberg, and then we have to be fair across the board based on what we find from the Carmody results.
Well, I looked up this property, so it's got a ticket, and it'll expire by the next meeting.
Okay.
So I think we either do nothing or we have a motion.
Nothing mean what?
If you do nothing, we don't give an extension. If
Right.
we do a motion, then the motion will be to give an extension and we vote on it.
I say we considered it, but I don't think, I would not.
Randy, you have your hand up?
I don't, no, I don't, but
Oh,
I don't want to be heavy-handed about it if somebody's having an issue, but it's every 7 years. And I think it's not a good idea for us to set a precedent of giving extensions, and then, the next thing you know, every meeting we've got somebody asking for an extension. So I think every 7 years is pretty reasonable, particularly where the septic tank is out of spec.
Okay,
I say we
So-
do nothing.
all right, so if someone wants to make a motion, please make it now. And I'm trying to hurry this along because my computer's gonna die, and I want to get to public comment. I'm not hearing any motions, so I'm gonna move on. Okay. So now it's public comment. I'm gonna try and unmute everybody. Unmute all. So you should all be unmuted. If someone would like to make a public comment, go ahead and make a public comment. Say your name and I'll recognize you.
This is Mary Daly. Can you hear me?
Yes, Mary, you're recognized.
Thank you. In regard to your ordinance and pump outs, I just want to say that when I looked at it prior, which I can't find right now, because I'm on this meeting with you, there wasn't a provision for inspection. It was just the pump out. And we, and some of you have advocated that you amend that ordinance to stipulate that there is also an inspection. Because we feel that having the inspection, actually going to 5 years, but even at 7 years, would help avoid the problems, some of the problems that you're facing today. But look at your wording. Last I recall, there wasn't a requirement to do an inspection, just a pump out. Thank you.
Thank you. There's no other comments, there's no other public. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So, Steve made a motion, Randy, seconded, discussion.
Yeah.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Erica, if you could say unanimous. Everyone have a good night and, have a good day. Take care. Bye, everybody.
Aye.